All right, so my name's Jensen. I'm a medical esthetician here, actually on the other side. We just use this lobby, it's a lot more space for us. But basically, we're here to talk about skin tonight. So we'll talk about a few different things. We'll talk about skin types, medical grade products, over-the-counter products. We'll do a little VISIA Skin Analysis demonstration, and then we will do a HydraFacial demonstration. So you guys will get to see everything kind of in action. So first one, oily. Oily is probably the most common thing that I see. People tell me that they feel slick, they feel greasy, and they feel like they're clogged. Really, with oily skin, biggest thing is they're in need of extractions. All of that dirt, oil, sebum needs to come up and out. So oily skin can also kind of lead into acne-prone skin, which is the next category, which is acne rosacea. So for example, myself, I have rosacea, so I get really red in my cheeks, basically inflammation of the skin. Red, sensitized skin typically need calming ingredients, things that are going to kill bacteria. So something like a salicylic acid is great for acne, great for rosacea, kill that inflammation, kill that bacteria. Let's see, so next we have sensitive. So sensitive skin, you kind of have to baby it. You can't have really active ingredients, no harsh scrubs, no fragrances, anything that's going to trigger it and irritate it. So you have to be kind of gentle with it. And the best thing to do is patch test any new products. If you get a new product, don't necessarily put it on your face. Best thing you can do is like right behind your ear, right behind your jawline. That'll give you a good idea of how your skin's going to respond to it. Excuse me. So, next is dry skin. And this is what I hear most with my older ladies, is that they feel dry. They feel dull. Everything feels tight. So really the biggest thing for that is going to be exfoliation. A lot of times it's a lot of built up dead skin. And that's what's making it feel so tight and dry. So exfoliation is going to help to remove that dead skin from the surface so your natural balance or natural moisture can really balance out. And then combination is a really common one. A lot of people are oily in their T-zone, so right their nose, their forehead, chin, and then their cheeks are dry. So with someone like that, they can use a combination of different types of ingredients. So for example, on the oily zone, if they break out nose, forehead, chin, that's a great spot for benzoyl peroxide for acne treatment. And then for dryness, really sort of any acid that's going to exfoliate and get that dead skin off to really kind of balance the skin. But those are basically all of your skin types, and that's a good place to start when you're trying to pick products and ingredients for yourself. Next, we'll talk about medical grade products versus over-the-counter products, because I hear people ask me all the time, do I really need these products, or can I go to Target? And I'm like, yeah, go to Target, but you're not going to get any sort of improvement. You'll get maintenance. You'll maintain the skin that you have right at that moment, and we'll talk about why. So basically, medical grade ingredients or medical grade products have high percentages of active ingredients. Where things that you buy over the counter, they're going to have a lower percentage, and that's basically so that they can tailor to almost everybody's skin. Which, if you're buying a product that's tailored towards everybody's skin, it's probably not a product you should be buying. Because everybody's skin is different and you want it to tailor towards yours. So, let's see. Medical grade. So for medical grade, there is clinical research that's required in order to classify it as a drug. A drug can actually change on the cellular level of your skin. Where if it's something that's classified as a cosmetic, they're designed to sit on the skin. Just like makeup, like a blush, a foundation, anything like that is not going to get into the skin. It sits on top of it. So that's why it's kind of, they are designated as cosmetics and not drugs, where medical grade products are designated as drugs. Let's see, so talked about how medical grade products can actually correct and change things on a cellular level. They get below the epidermis and get to where they need to go so they can actually make a change in the skin, where like I said, things that are classified as cosmetics going to sit on the skin, so they're not getting to where they need to go. It's not penetrating anything, so that's why a lot of people will tell me, they're like, oh, I felt like my skin was looking so great when I used that at first, and then I rebought it and it did nothing for me. And that's typically the issue, is that they're designed to not necessarily make cellular changes. They just kind of maintain what you already have. And that's why I tell people, yeah, you can go to Target, but you're not going to get the results that you would get if you were using medical grade. So basically what happens is when you get a VISIA analysis, you'll come in, you'll sit right here, you'll place your chin here, forehead here, and we'll take images of each side of your face and the front. So that way we're getting a full view of your skin. First category here is spots. So this is going to be any spots that are visible. It could be red spots, it could be acne scars, it could be sun damage, basically anything that's visible and different than your natural skin tone. Let's take a look at wrinkles. So the next category is wrinkles. And in this category, I can zoom in real close, and I think you guys can see there's two different types of green here on the screen. So there's a light green and a darker green. This lighter green here shows the static lines. The static lines are what's visible, dynamic lines are what's visible at rest. And static lines are visible with movement. So you can see kind of the difference there. And if we take a look at the side view, we can see what's going on underneath her eyes too. So if I zoom in here, I can see a lot of times if somebody is really dehydrated, if their skin is really dehydrated, or if they really have wrinkly under eyes, which a lot of times it could be a product that helps to fix that dehydrated skin and improve that wrinkle score, but her score is like, she's at a 96%, she's fine. Next category here is texture. So she's kind of right in the middle for texture, so that tells me there's definitely room for improvement there. And you can see kind of the areas that the texture is most congested, where most of the coloring is. And it's in this area right here where the pores are a little larger. When the pores are larger like that, they show up as texture because you see the pitting and the raised skin. So on this, you'll see the yellow and the blue. The blue represents anything that's pitted, and the yellow represents anything that's raised. So it's really cool to see kind of where her texture mostly lies. And that just tells me in that area she could use a little bit more exfoliation or moisture. Let's take a look at pores. Now her pores, she's at a 95%, so she's doing really well. So this category here points out basically impacted pores and large pores. And the best thing you can do for large pores is exfoliation. So that could be in the form of a HydraFacial, it could be chemical peels, really any kind of facial service. Also, lasers are really great for pores too. But typically, I see most of them kind of in the T-zone, right next to the nose, on the nose, in the middle of the brows also is another area where we see some enlarged pores, but she's doing really well in that category. Let's take a look at sun damage. So this category I think is really cool to see because it shows me what's going on underneath your skin. You can't necessarily see this sun damage, but this is all sun damage that's kind of lurking below the surface, and it will come out in the future. So best thing you can do for sun damage is to prevent any further sun damage. So keeping your skin protected, keeping it covered when you're really out and about, but wearing an SPF every single day is your best bet. I always say a minimum 30 SPF every single day. Really prevent aging and kind of correct what we already have going on. But now we'll look at her visible brown spots because this shows us everything that's underneath the surface. And she's got a really great score for that because she's done a lot to take care of her skin. But we'll take a look at brown spots and see where we have most of the visible brown spots. So it's interesting to see where they're the most visible too, because it really is where the sun hits us the most. So it's on the cheekbones, on the forehead, on the bridge of the nose. And it looks like her left side might be a little heavier with it, and typically that's from driving in the car. A lot of times we don't realize how prominent the sun is when we're in the car. So having tinted windows is a great idea, especially in Florida. So let's take a look at her red areas. So this is any inflammation in the skin. So when I zoom in, I can see that, like right here, for example, this is picking up on a little bit of a pimple. So of course there's some inflammation under there. And then looks like a little bit in the cheeks too. So when I see inflammation in the cheeks, the number one thing that tells me is rosacea. I can't diagnose rosacea because I'm not a dermatologist, but I can tell you to go to a dermatologist to diagnose it. So she looks like she could be kind of in the beginning stages of rosacea. Best thing she can do to prevent any further is really protecting your skin from the sun. Her SPF is going to be a big one, and even heat itself on the skin can cause that inflammation. So she's a little low in the red area, but this was also when she had some active acne, so that could have really been throwing off her score. Let's take a look at porphyrins. Her porphyrin score is amazing. So this is bacteria in the skin, bacteria in the pores. So basically, all of these pores that it's picking up here are congested, and that means that all of that needs to be extracted. So that is oil, dirt, sebum, everything just built up into the pores that is now at a bacterial state. So HydraFacial is my favorite treatment to do when I see pore friends like this, because it tells me that afterwards, none of that's going to be there because it's going to be suctioned right out. So her pore friend score is really high because she keeps her pores really clean and her skin really clean. But typically around the nose, around the mouth is where I see the congested pores the most. And she's a little bit on the oily side too, so that's normal for her. It'll help her a lot with her aging, but it's not the best for acne and overall skin, but it'll help her in the long run. So now what we're going to do is look at her true skin age. That's one of my favorite features about the VISIA, is what it does is it takes all of your scores from all of your categories, uses a database of 100 women at her same age, her same skin tone, and it scores her. It tells her how old it thinks her skin is based on her scores. So we'll take a look at her true skin age and see where we're at for that. Okay, so Jenny's 25, her true skin age is 20, so that's incredible. She's done a lot to really take care of her skin and help her skin and prevent any further damage, but I can get that score even lower. So the things that are kind of throwing off her score are the things that I would focus on when I go to any sort of service. So for example, let's see what her lowest score here is. Looks like her lowest score is texture. So typically if I see somebody has a little bit more texture, it tells me a little bit more exfoliation, and that could be physical or with acids. And today with the HydraFacial, we're doing both. So that's what's nice about that, is we'll hit that. It looks like another one is her inflammation. So that will help a ton with her inflammation because of the salicylic acid in there that's going to kill the bacteria. Let's see. And the last thing I like to show everybody is their aging simulation, because this part is pretty cool. So it will show how old she will look up to all the way to 80 years old. So it's really cool. Yeah, it gives you a good idea. And a lot of women, they see it and they're like, oh, that's my mom or that's my grandma. So it's pretty cool to see. So we'll take a look at what Jenny's going to be like at 80. Okay, so we can see. Now it's going back and forth. So basically you can see how everything kind of comes into play. Gravity comes into play, her sun damage comes out, even her eyebrows are grayed in here. So basically this would be as if she did nothing with her skin. So at 80 years old, that's what we would be looking at. Not too bad for 80, but definitely some things that we can improve. But definitely gravity is not our friend.